Okay, so this is part 4, and this is going to be the final part where we discuss the whole kind of story again that leads all the way up to where I am today. So we left off with me being at La Jolla campus at this point. Like I said, I don't remember anything from the 7th to the 12th. I got to La Jolla on the 10th, so she's going to give a little more insight into what happened over those 2 days until I can kind of take over and explain again what was going on from there.
So we're at La Jolla and we're just discussing his past medical history, his lifestyle, just all the things about him. And the doctor comes in and he's talking to me and he's letting me know that the blood alcohol levels were significant. So in that case, he doesn't qualify for a heart transplant at that moment, that he would have to prove sobriety for 6 months, and it's this whole thing. But he also said that he didn't really necessarily think that a transplant for him would even be the right move at his age, because when you get a transplant, you have to be on immunosuppressants and your body is slowly fighting off that new heart. So they said the average lifespan is about 10 to 12 years for that heart. Obviously, people can live longer or shorter, but that's like about the average. So he's like, I don't want him to have 3 transplants throughout his life. You know, he's so young. And so pretty much, you know, he's on ECMO, he's on balloon pump. His heart is very, very weak. So they wanted to leave him on that for some time, allow his body to get stronger. And then they also wanted to wake him up and to just be able to talk to him and to let him know, you know, what the plan was. And he's an amazing doctor. He drew out on the whiteboard the entire plan. This is where he is now. You know, this is what we maybe want to do. They're thinking about moving from like ECMO and balloon pump, then to Impella, adding Impella on top of those things, and then weaning him off of the other stuff, and then moving over to LVAD, and then possibly transplant down the road. But so you can he remembers some of this stuff. So then they woke him up, and then you can go off from there.
Yeah, so they woke me up, and at that point the doctor told me the plan. My wife was a little bit scared because I'm very stubborn, and she knew that I probably wouldn't go along with the plan, just because this is the last thing I wanted, which she's, to her surprise, I was completely on board. At this point I was terrified. And I just wanted to stay alive. I wanted to be able to be with my kids and with her, and, you know, spend time with my family. So I was willing to do what I had to do to make sure that could happen. So at that point, we're going through a couple days. They're just, you know, doing their normal routine with me, coming in, taking my vitals constantly, you know, giving me my medicine. And then about a week or so after I woke up and started remembering stuff, they came in, the doctor that originally wrote out the plan came in, and they did what's called a turn down test on my ECMO. Basically what they do is they turn the numbers down on the ECMO machine to see if
The revolution.
Yeah, the revolution of the ECMO machine, to see if my body and my heart still continue to function the way it was with all the ECMO running. So they did the turn down test. My body, there was no reactions.
They wanted to make sure that the right side of his
was
heart
strong enough to be able to keep pumping and handle the additional blood flow and stuff through the left.
Well, no, to be able to get the LVAD, they wanted to make sure that the right side of your heart, so they had explained that when you get the LVAD put in, that the right side of the heart can start to fail or to go in shock, because it's not used to all that blood flow going to the right side of the heart. So they wanted to make sure that his right side of the heart was strong enough to be able to handle getting the LVAD. So that was their biggest concern.
And so he did the turn down test, and I passed with flying colors. And he looked at the nurses that were in the room, and he basically said, you know, he's strong enough to be able to just go straight into LVAD. So I was able to bypass the Impella that they wanted to put in me, and all the additional steps that they wanted to take to try to make sure that I could get strong enough for the LVAD. At that point, I was strong enough for it. Thankfully, I am a very resilient person. My body is very strong. So all the damage that I've done over the years, my body was still able to bounce back once I was in the hospital, once I was getting the right care. And that was a really good sign for us and for the doctors. Hence the reason why my team is so adamant that they think I can actually be one of the ones to get this removed. Simply because my body is strong, because I am young, and I do have a good health record other than the whole heart issue that I've had. So from there, great news for us, great news for my family. Everybody was really excited to hear that I didn't have to go through all these additional steps. And so it took about a week and a half after that to get me actually into surgery. They would come in every day and be like, okay, you're on the list for the end of the day. The end of the day would come and they'd put me on, what is it? Where I can't eat or anything, can't drink.
NPO?
Oh yeah, they'd NPO me every day and it pissed me off. I'm like, if I don't go into surgery today and you guys don't let me eat all day and you don't let me do this all day, like, I'm going to be frustrated. And it kept happening over and over and over.
And also, another thing I want to add is that he started bleeding out of the cannulas.
Yeah, so
of
hold
the
on.
ECMO.
I'm getting there. So, about 4 or 5 days before I actually get to go into the surgery, because I'm telling them to take the ECMO out. They're telling me that I don't necessarily need it anymore. My heart is strong enough to be able to just stay on the medicine and kind of go through it until I can get the LVAD put in. So I keep telling them
we were asking for balloon pump to
I wanted
ECMO
everything out of
wasn't
me.
gonna get taken
I wanted everything out of me because I was tired of it. And they decided that it's smarter to remove all this stuff when I go in for the LVAD surgery, so it's only one surgery. So I'm like, okay, well, when am I gonna get the surgery? Oh, we're gonna put you on MPO. You should be able to get it tomorrow. Again, multiple days pass. I'm not able to get it, but while I'm waiting, one night I wake up. One night I'm getting ready to go to bed, and all of a sudden I kind of shift the blankets and I feel really, really, really wet. And I'm like, did you pee yourself? You know? Oh wait, you can't pee yourself. You have a catheter in. What's going on? So I lift up the blanket, and my whole blanket on the right side is just covered in blood. And I look and I'm like, now I'm panicking. I'm like, what is going on? Call the doctor, they run in. The nurses, they run in. They start looking, and I'm bleeding from one of my cannulas on my right side. And I'm just panicking now, because it's not like there's just a little amount of blood. It's not like there's a little patch on my blanket. I mean, this thing was soaked. I was soaked. My gown was soaked. So I'm panicking.
And the sheets were folded up, like, thick, and he
I
soaked through the
entire way. It was
but
terrible.
Long story short, he went in to get a new line, right? He went in.
They did the heart cath.
He got a heart cath.
Yeah.
So they think when they shifted him over to
when
the bed,
they moved me from my bed onto the table bed that they used,
that it must have ripped on the cannula or whatever. So he started bleeding from the one side, and then they were putting pressure on it and just, trying to get it to stop. And then the other side started bleeding. Then they had to put the strap on him and to strap it down and to hold on to it.
So it had a bunch of pressure put on there.
To have a bunch of pressure on it.
And then they told me to go to sleep like it was just like nothing. I'm like, I'm not going to sleep. It's painful.
He actually ended up having to have a blood transfusion.
Because I had lost so much blood.
He lost so much blood. So that was terrifying.
All that happens. And then so finally one day I get the good news. The doctor comes in. They go, hey, tomorrow morning, which this is a Saturday, and typically down where I was, they don't do surgeries on Saturday for whatever reason. We're going to get you in first thing tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. I'm like, this is awesome. Okay, sweet. Now I'm actually scheduled. I get to go in. I know when it's going to happen. I'm not on MPO that I don't know what's going to happen through the day. So I'm excited, but I'm terrified because now it's time's here. I'm going into a major surgery. They're going to cut my heart or my chest open, pull my chest apart, and fix my heart. So
they did cut your heart.
I'm terrified of what's going to happen, and the whole time she's now panicking. So I'm like, okay, I gotta be the stronger one. And I'm like,
I wasn't panicking.
I'm like, everything's gonna be okay, babe. Everything's gonna be okay. And you even said in your own mind, you're like, I hope everything's okay.
No, I was telling you, you were the one. He was panicking so bad that he was
I had high level anxiety from it.
His teeth were chattering. They had to give him anxiety meds to calm him down.
Which I didn't want. Apparently, she told him to give them to me anyway. So
yeah, I was like, just give it to him because he literally wouldn't stop shaking. He had horrible fear and anxiety of all of this. So I was the strong one, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, is everything gonna be okay?
But as I'm leaving, I'm like, it's all gonna be okay. And I'm in my bed, and they're pushing me out. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm probably going to die on this operating table. I don't think I'm going to make it. They made the decision that I was strong enough. I don't know if I really am or not. I don't know if I'm going to make it. So they take me in for surgery. And at that point, I'm going in for my LVAD surgery. So that's where I'm going to leave off. And then we're going to drop the final part 5, as soon as we can. All right, so stay tuned for part 5, and this will be the final part that we drop.